Hello guys, welcome back to the YouTube. Today we are recording, it's a bit of a day in the life. So Andy's just got here, it is 8 a.m. At 9:30 we're recording the podcast, so the Off the Cuff episode 11. I keep getting confused. I think it was episode 11 that we're doing today. And then we're gonna come back, get some food in, I'm gonna do a bit of work. So obviously we recorded earlier this morning, so I've not had a chance to do a whole load of check-in, so I need to get some of those out of the way. And then we will go to the gym. It's hamstrings and pull today, which you'll see a couple of highlights of. It's not going to be a particularly training focused video, but it's my hams and pull session. I'm absolutely battered because the way the week's worked has meant that I've trained like 5 days in a row now. I forgot yesterday I was training with a client, so I had to squeeze an upper session in. And then today I've got hams and pull, so tomorrow I will rest, and then Friday I'll do legs. And then on Saturday I'm going skiing. So there won't be any training. I'm just going to try not to kill myself or break any bones. But yeah, today, day in the life, have a little insight into what goes on a typical Wednesday for me. And yeah, hopefully you enjoy it. I'll speak to you in the next bit. So we just got down to the studio, Outset Studios in Hoxton, which is where we've been recording all of our podcast episodes. So this is Off the Cuff episode 11. We've just worked out after a bit of confusion at the start. We're going to record an episode around steroids this week. It's been something I wanted to talk about for ages, just in terms of like younger people coming into bodybuilding, thinking when to take it, should I take it, is it worth it? So we're kind of just trying to debunk all of that. So yeah, discussion from 3 people who've been there and done it. That's what today's episode is going to be about. And then after this we'll get home and go train.
I know there's going to be some camp that's like still don't know if like Mr. Olympia's on steroids. You know, there's definitely some people, isn't there, like that? Yeah. And then there's the other end of the spectrum. It's like absolutely everyone in the gym is on steroids. Yeah. Neither are correct. Well, actually, no, Mr. Olympia is on steroids, and not everyone in the gym is on steroids. Enough, like my mum's also a nurse or midwife now, but obviously has that sort of background. My dad and my stepdad are both into bodybuilding, and they both used steroids when they were younger. So that gave me a lot of confidence, really, because in my head I was like, I bet they didn't do it very well, and they're all right. Yeah. So I was sort of like, maybe I'll be all right as well.
More often than not, we'll start to just budge forward, and when you start to play with your health, you know, that nudging starts to play with that risk. I don't think people think about that. They want to do the one cycle and come off and keep all their gains, but
yeah. Let's talk about that.
How much of a psychological impact is that even for people that aren't competing taking anabolics, that just say to themselves, I'm going to do one? Do they get addicted to the results? Do they get scared of, if I come off, I'm going to lose all of my results?
Okay, so we're back from the podcast. It's now time to eat, because then we're going to train. I've had a meal today. Before Andy arrived, I had 60 grams of whey, 50 grams of blueberries, a banana, and 6 pancakes. 6 Kingsmill pancakes. It was pancake day yesterday, so I'm doing my bit. Lemon and sugar. Shout out the Simple gang. This next meal, this is just the other half of last night's chili, so 250 grams of mince with Tesco hot chili con carne mix. I'm going to put a pack of rice in, so 250 grams of cooked rice. That'll be pre-workout meal. We let that settle. I'll get changed, and then we'll go to the gym. Today we're training at Muscleworks Orpington today, just because they've got a decent seated ham curl, and I want to use that, and also a good hip extension bench. So that's where we're going. But yeah, another meal, bit of work, and then we'll be off. Oh, quick tip as well, actually. Glass doesn't get stained when you're putting tomato-based stuff in. So if you're having chili or spag bowl or anything with tomatoes in, use glass Tupperware. That one's from IKEA. So for skiing this week, instead of any stupid outfits, we've got pit vipers, which are obviously fucking sick. If anyone knows what these are from, shout out you. And if you don't, the answer is that guy on the snowplow that goes over, have you seen it? Goes over the cars, and he goes, I'm going to send it.
Oh yeah.
I'm going to send it. It's that guy.
I don't know, I just woke up from a little nap. It's a little dark, but you guys silly? I'm still going to send it.
They're fake. The real ones are like 80 quid, and I'm not spending 80 quid on stupid glass that I'm never going to wear other than at skiing. Completely the wrong way around. I'm going rice on top of meat. Doesn't that look nice? It actually is really nice. I had it last night. It's my calories have just gone down to 4,900 as we are no longer pushing body weight. So that feels a lot better already. Last night I actually ate think yesterday at 5,200, and that felt easy. It's very weird how the psychology of nutrition plays with you. As soon as you know you've got, it's like when you're dieting. I reckon I could easily tomorrow, if someone said, do you reckon you could eat 2,400 calories tomorrow and not be bothered about it? I'd be like, yeah. But the second you're dieting, all goes, isn't it? It's a nightmare. So today's session's hams and upper back, which is a 7 movement long session. Starting with standing calf raise, 3 sets of that, and then it's a kneeling hamstring curl, which I'm going to do a seated hamstring curl instead. We're just trying to make sure I'm getting into a position whereby my hips are flexed, as opposed to a lying ham curl when your hips are extended. Then a 45-degree hip extension. So that really is that's my sort of hip hinge. I can't RDL. I've never been able to RDL. Just doesn't. I don't think it just works with me. I've tried to learn plenty of times, and many times thought this will be the downfall in my physique in terms of like a lower back development. But we've got the hip extension in, which will sort of apply resistance to the lower back muscles, and also obviously hips and glutes and hams as well. So that one is done with a hand bias. I'll load that up just by holding plates. Then we go into a plate loaded hip thrust. There's a really good one at Muscleworks actually. It's Arsenal strength one, which I quite like. And then it's into back work, which is relatively light stuff. So seated D-handle lat pull down, but with a mid-back focus. So sort of pulling into the face rather than down into your pocket. Then a seated D-handle upper back row. So that's a typical upward motion row. And then finally just a bicep curl to finish. So the first half is pretty grueling stuff, and then the second half is all right. So that's the session today, and then I will rest tomorrow before I hit lower on Friday. So ignore this because it's all wrong, but the session's correct. I'm gonna whip up pre's and intras now. Pre of choice remains the pre and pump from Supplement Needs, and EAs and intra remains the same as last time. I've just downscaled the amount of carbs that go in a little bit. I don't need like 75 grams now, with calories coming down slightly. And I often find that it doesn't sit that well with me, intra. I think anything that's like somewhat sweetened, that obviously the EAAs, but it doesn't sit well in my stomach. And if I'm hip hinging and hip thrusting, I don't really want discomfort in the torso region. So I'll bring that down to 50 grams. Still 2 scoops of EAAs though. And I think as per last time, it's still gummy bears. You smell that? It drifted into your nose.
It smells great.
Doesn't it? Should we take you through my supplements actually? Daily subs, my daily health subs. So, the standards are CV Stack and Astrag Flow. I have these like year round, cruising, blasting, prepping, whatever. My lipid panel is typically not great, so CV Stack's absolutely key. Astrag Flow is good for blood pressure. Now, I get my mum to take Astrag Flow, the powder version, because she likes it, and she had high blood pressure. She literally texted me last week saying, have you done your order yet? Because without Astrag Flow, my blood pressure's gone up. So it bloody works. Recently, Supplement just released this Serenato supplement, which is like another heart health stack. With a load of different ingredients that aren't in the CV Stack. So speaking to Dr. Dean, basically breaks down what causes scar tissue, and it can also help with basically adding to the benefits of CV Stack in terms of your lipid profiles, in terms of like wall thickness in the arteries as well. So quite a key one, like hypertension, blood pressure. Glucosamine and chondroitin, I use this for joints, knees in particular. And then we have probiotics, so once a day. I don't think my gut health is great, so there's like, how many millions in here? A good billions. There's billions of bacteria in there. So that's that, multivitamin, don't really need to discuss that. ImmunoPro, obviously lots of COVID going around, so you want to save yourself with that. And omega-3s, which everyone should be taking. If there was 3 things that everyone should take, it would be like creatine, omega-3, and probably a good multivitamin, I would say, if you need to prioritise. And if you're no good at getting your fruit and veg in, then get yourself a greens powder as well. Hopefully you didn't see my steroids in the cupboard. If you did, just don't report me. That's my supplement stack. Keep me nice and healthy. So with calves, I'm probably not the person you want to listen to, but typically, if someone's got a really shit body part, they've probably tried quite hard to make it better. So a little pause in the length and range. You'll see as I'm right at the bottom, I'm spending a bit of time there. And then it's a case of driving your ankles forward. So I'm mostly thinking about, I want to get as straight a line as possible. So my heels are driving right forward. And I'm spending time in that shortened range as well. There's no bouncing. Sometimes you'll see you get like halfway up and then like a bit more of a shortening, which is fine when you're struggling, but it wants to be one nice smooth movement and just spend time in both shortened and lengthened. So that was day and a half, well, three quarters of a day in the life, morning in the life. That's pretty standard Wednesday for me, though. It's normally a rest day. As I said, I've been training. My training's all been all over the place the last week with training with clients and whatnot. So we were back in on Friday, but you've seen a bit of a podcast, a bit of sort of check-ins and my food at home, a couple more meals, all my check-ins because obviously training's done early, and then get to bed. So hope you enjoyed that. Bit of an insight, maybe a bit different to Josh's, but who knows. And yeah, like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.